Teddy!
Jumping now. Aye, aye.
What are you doing wrong? What are we trying to do?
Fantastic day, enjoy the displays, and I will hopefully bump into some of you throughout the afternoon. Thanks very much.
20 Squadron at RAF Lossiemouth back in the summer of 2020. This aircraft now on a training mission today. So here it comes now. It's absolutely compulsory. You must all give all the pilots a good wave today. Encourage the kids to get involved, whatever you got, umbrellas, hats and coats. All these guys working really hard to entertain you here this afternoon.
And then we became the Tigers 314, and then 2018, fast forward, we then got amalgamated and subsumed into Field Army and Home Command, and we are now pretty quick. But it's very unlikely they will. I mean, these guys are very, very experienced. So how to become a display jump master, ladies and gentlemen, so 3, 2, 1, big cheer. Okay, that's them ready to get out. So you've got Corporal Eddie Rudd, who's leading in today. So he's a run, okay, with the smoke, hanging out the door now, ready to dispatch any minute now. Got strong arms, he's literally hanging onto that aircraft as they're travelling a good couple hundred knots. Give a bit more encouragement, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, going to shout, jump. There he is. There's Corporal Eddie Rudd, screaming down part of the regional group. With him, you've got Barney Martin, in the boat of viewers, you've got jumpers there. So you've got 3 came down there, there's boats there, they're the free group, they're going to come down So just like with an aircraft, we like to land into route 10. Actually, have a cross out there, you can see it with the smoke scroll and right line we got the T. So the T's like an arrow, you land in towards the T and then you hit the wall, and that's where you sort of come in, that's a landing direction that you're going in. So as you look out to the runway, you're being from left to right there, you're landing. So coordinating runway is going in, he's flying team flag. Okay, so that's us, flag tigers are with parachutes plating. Please do social media videos of us. And like what you can see here, you can come and jump it up. So we can throw you out of an aircraft, throw a path around the aircraft, do just someone else does some note, sort something out. So behind him you've got Private Barney Martin there, who's flying the UJ flag, the Union Jack flag there. These are weighted 200 square foot flags. They're pretty heavy, pretty big. So they're there. Yeah, look at that, how accurate is that? Hey, Barney Martin now, coming in. You've got lots of all into the island there, swiftly coming down behind. Catching him up, Private Jacob Jackson as well with the smoke. So they've got a split land, either side of each other. Landing. Last but not least, Private Will Sims flying the infantry flag. And that's a symbol of infantry where we made that good. And we do have a so he'll be getting out just where the other guys got out, so a little bit further, deeper, so he can get out, and then he's going to get out of flag. But he's the only one in the aircraft now, I believe, so he's going to need a bit of encouragement, so if we can give him a bit of a cheer. There he is. So that's Private Matthew Botwright, he's display jump master today. Lots of air shows. We always, as I mentioned earlier, we jump with the RAF, it's great. Yeah, seeing the Typhoon, absolutely amazing one, seeing the red arrows, seeing everything else is flying. But because we wear blue uniforms as our red colours, blue, we're now part of Queen's Division. Everyone confuses us with the RAF, they always think we're RAF. So we really want to exploit points. We're very proud of the different services, and it's always an honour to be flown around some of the amazing taxi services the RAF offer. But we are Army, so we made a 2,000 square foot flag just a proof of point who we are. And when you see this land, it is absolutely massive. And I just again want to say it's a great thank you and an honour it is flying the Army flag. None of you guys have a flag this big. Above RAF Coningsby, award-winning Air Force base, as I've just heard, and we get to fly a 2,000 square foot Army flag. So when you see this on the ground, it looks a lot bigger and it takes the majority of the team just to pack it. And as you can see with the wind, the size of the canopy, there's a lot of drag on this, so it's quite a good skill, very hard skill. So Private Matthew Botwright is the tandem instructor, he's one of the guys you'll be attached to if you want to jump out the team, jump out with that. Give it a big round of applause, that is an accurate landing there with the flag. And it's a lot of the team. So thank you very much.
Wow.
There are
Between a roll demo and a display is fairly straightforward. Roll demo includes all the manoeuvres that a operational pilot would be taught to go into the combat theatre and undertake missions. A full display profile occasionally will involve additional manoeuvres which are not normally part of an average operational pilot's envelope of activities, but nonetheless, of course, well within the operational capability of the airframe itself. So this roll demo essentially encompassing all the manoeuvres the pilot would use, and in this case particularly, of course, hovering to manoeuvre and land on the deck of one of our mighty carriers. So spooling up the engines very shortly, and we'll get this show back on the road.
Here we go, send it!
So he's just slowing the jet down now to pre-position for what would perhaps normally be a deck landing. It's going to get very noisy, and it also will be there for a little while. Right in the middle, so hold on to your ears and just enjoy the sight. Meanwhile, that distinctive whine you can hear is Ken Altwheeler just winding up the vintage vampire. He'll be repositioning to fly shortly after the F-35 demo is complete. So we're just repositioning the Vampire so it doesn't cause any nuisance, and we'll hopefully get Hux airborne again. Here he goes, rolling.
It's gonna get loud. Here we go. Grateful thanks to MARHAM and Hux for bringing the jet over to us this afternoon. Well, coming up now, something very different, and the first of our, I think, only international visitor here today. And this gentleman I know well. He lives near Oslo, and he spends most of his summer demonstrating wonderful aircraft that used to belong to the Royal Air Force. And he also has another one that belonged to the Soviets as well. But today he's brought us the FB-52, a single-seater. country. But nonetheless, we're all chums, and we're all good NATO mates. And this guy's been working so hard over the years. He formed a thing called the Norwegian Air Force Historical Squadron, and just as an enthusiast, brought up a couple of old aircraft. I mentioned it had a MiG-15. It was actually with the Polish Air Force, that particular aircraft.
That's amazing.
But then a couple of vampires, and he spends most of his time flying in this country, but does an awful lot around the rest of Europe as well. It's a non-profit organisation dedicated to keep these unique aircraft where they belong, which of course is up in the air, and displaying as many occasions as he can.
Oh my God, they've lifted up the Mustang. There's about 6 lads lifting it up.
Continue request departure from 1942.
So just exchanging the notes and ensuring the airspace is once again safe again to his long-term hobby. Now it's got a curious colour scheme. Those of you that have seen these aircraft around the display circuit will know that he repainted both his vampires in Royal Air Force Squadron colours to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Royal Air Force. But he's since been using this one on a number of film works. Here it is rolling now. Own personal squadron was formed in 2008 and based at Riga Air Base, Germany. That's just south of Oslo. Background, both arms here, pilots and engineers. This aircraft, the FB-52, was the export version of the Mark 6. Just over 100 of these were built, and 36 of them exported to Norway and were in use from 1949 through to 1957. This particular one marks Papa X-ray Kilo. Right up until 1990. French owner then flew for a couple of years and took the soul to another gentleman in Sweden, and transferred ownership in 2011. You see, it's got a crew of one. It's a very snug, very compact cockpit as well, and ergonomically something of a nightmare as well. In those days, of course, engineers tended to fit instruments where they saw space, not necessarily where it made it easier for the pilot to observe the information or indeed to fly it any easier. But nonetheless, a very successful machine. In the de Havilland family, of course, the front end all bent wood, and a significant mark of the time. been interested and involved in flying since a very young age, and first went solo in Atlanta at the age of 15. Went on to join the military in 1981, accumulating about 1,500 hours, going on to train air controllers. Spent a lot of time with SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, flying several months with 747, 416, He's been displaying vampires now since 2007. But he's not flying these, he's instructing, loading somewhere in the region of 50,000 miles. Armed with some effective weaponry of the day, this would have 4 20mm Hispano Mark 5 cannons, 8 3-inch 60-pound rockets, or 2 500-pound bombs, or, if you needed the fuel, replace that with 2 drop tanks instead.
Aircraft is a Boeing Chinook Mark 6 Alpha, which make up the bulk of Britain's fleet. And this airframe displaying to you is a real
have to do the honours to catch
having
the
clocked up an outrageous 12,000 hours in support
because you don't want
of
Ted
British
to like
operations.
with the walker.
He's coming
The
in.
Chinook force is stationed at RAF Odium in Hampshire, where 3 frontline squadrons all operate the Chinook.
Ted, you loved it. You were in this, weren't you, the other day?
From 18 Bomber Squadron, the original squadron to fight the mighty Chinook,
a little bit.
and therefore the producer of one of unquestionably the best Chinook pilots in the Air Force. If we look to the display area, we can see our aircraft in the ultra-low level environment, a place where all Chinook crews are comfortable. Take note, Typhoon pilots, and it's running in towards us at 120 knots. Have your cameras ready. And here we go. The Chinook moves up to the vertical to begin today's display. The aircraft brakes left after a pedal turn to set up for its next manoeuvre, the offset wingover. This year's display is captained by Flight Lieutenant Jim Hopkirk. Jim is the Royal Air Force's old father time, having joined up in 1989 before the rest of the display team were even born. Jim has flown the Wessex, the Augusta 109, the Squirrel, the Griffin, and now the Chinook. Rumour has it he even provided the inspiration for Leonardo da Vinci's original helicopter drawing. He's undertaken operational tours across the globe and is the Chinook Force's highest qualified instructor. He's almost certainly forgotten more about flying than most of us will ever learn.
The crew have used the wing over to reposition for the run-in back along the crowd line in exactly the same way a frontline pilot would use a wing over to recce a landing site before making an approach. They are now running in for our famous roller coaster manoeuvre. The crew pitch the aircraft up to 50 degrees from the horizontal, bunt over at the top, and dive back down to the hard deck of 100 feet for today's display. Technology's let us down, but right now Jim is entirely reliant on Hoops talking him through the instruments to guide the Air Chinook through the manoeuvre. As they complete the nose over, they begin setting the aircraft up for the second of today's pedal turns. Jim puts the aircraft into a max performance climb before putting in a big boot at the top of the apex and reversing the aircraft through 180 degrees. They'll now conduct a pass of the flight line, waggling the wings as they go, and give you the opportunity for some cracking photos. The Chinook is inextricably linked with the modern battlefield. During conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq, the unmistakable sound of the Chinook plane flaps offered assurance to those on the ground to help the unmatched combination of power, agility and endurance enables the Chinook to deliver on time and on target, irrespective of what it was. I'm sorry that RAF Coningsby, whose enduring support enables us to deliver training, particularly helicopter versus fighter training, which we all love conducting. We've really enjoyed getting to know this year's Typhoon display pilot at RIAT just a few weekends ago. He seemed like a thoroughly decent chap, and his engineers promised us that he'll have even more personality when his next software update comes in. The crew are now entering what is known as the Gorney Corkscrew. This manoeuvre harks back to our time in Bosnia, where the aircraft would depart the Gourney-Vaucluse base in this fashion, rotating and climbing and demonstrating just how astonishing the power-to-weight ratio of this helicopter is. They dive off the top of the Gourney corkscrew and enter a 405-degree spiral descent back down towards their hard deck. All of our display activity at ODM is conducted around our normal duties to ensure that we retain a credible air manoeuvre capability. The crew are now positioning the aircraft for a run-in and break. This is a great chance for a photo, but also it's our chance to demonstrate what a lovely sound the Chinook plays that day. Air brake to slow the aircraft to a stop. To demonstrate just how much control Jim has over the aircraft, it will bring it to a stop on two wheels before reversing back up the runway. The Chinook is the only helicopter capable of this impressive feat, and it's an attribute that has helped many a crew get out of a tight parking spot. Here at RAF Coningsby, our crew will conduct an over-the-shoulder departure. The flash of the landing lights and a wave to our crewmen. Please give them a big wave back as they depart from today's display. It has been an absolute honour to bring the blaze back to RAF Coningsby. We love seeing your photos, so please send them to our social media sites, and those we do the best over the course of our season will win some exciting Chinook goodies. We hope you've enjoyed the display, and thanks again for having us.
Brilliant. Well done, everybody. Yes, thanks so much for the wounded P-51 Mustang just down the inspiring and educating and promoting aviation heritage through the operation of these rare and historically accurate aircraft, and of course being an engine manufacturer, very interested in the engines as well, and but also to showcase the aircraft as we think to pick up some spares and then we'll be back with this pretty charge to the exhibition.
I like it. They said we need to go to the third half. Yeah.
Going to be inspired by these aircraft and maybe think about getting careers, not necessarily always in the cockpits. There's equally much interest and a great career to be had in the engineering and support aspects of all the military. But of course, at the end of the day, many of these older aircraft go straight into its display. So we'll talk a bit more about this aircraft and pilot a little later on, but doing a great job here to help get the Mustang back on the road. Made in well over 22 different marks, and its speed, power and its armament pretty much doubling throughout the course of the Second World War. An amazing achievement, of course, combining that wonderful infantry wing with the land. This aircraft put into what was known at the time as the Royal Air Force Historic Aircraft Fleet, forerunner of today's Battle Britain Memorial Flight, which you're very welcome to Air Force Flight. including the markings worn between January and June 1945. For Rolls-Royce. Representing both the heritage of the Spitfire itself and of course Rolls-Royce engines that powered them, highlighting the constant technical development of both the aircraft and its engines, honouring the pilots of all the nations who flew them and the men and women who flew them. Just a quick recap then on what's coming up. We're just pausing a couple of minutes, putting the programme back on schedule for the Strikemasters. Then at 3 o'clock, a must-see position of the afternoon, of course, with the Red Arrows. Pilots here are regularly and routinely stressed to take up to 9G, with of course additional help from the gear that they will be wearing. These aircraft are only really capable of pulling around about 5.5, but actually given their age and heritage, you will imagine that they are all treated very gracefully and kindly to help preserve these for longer and other following generations to enjoy. And so generally speaking, most of the display restricted to around 4.5G.
During the display, yeah.
So on we roll now. The manoeuvres of the leading pilot. The cadence, very, very similar and redefined on the very final part of whatever the message is. There you see the cadence. The action is taken on the final vowel. That's Sean's voice there leading the plane. 1994. And led to the very first order of 10 Mark 1s for the Royal Air Force, followed up by 40 of the more powerful and developed Mark 3 JP. The concept of taking the design even further, and a lovely sprint.
You're right with Pepsi? Part of the all the Strikemasters ever produced, and one off. The L91, some of the high builds are built at a collection of spares, and nominated aircraft 45 after the cancellation of a contract to the Sudanese Air Force. Very low hours, just over 2,500 hours on this. Stand by for another good photographic opportunity. Took him all around the world, flying a huge number of different aircraft, and included flying the Chinese-built MiG-21s as well. He's currently an airline captain flying the Airbus A320, and amassed in excess of 17,000 hours, so he's been in the air quite a lot, hasn't he? Flying more than 80 different types. Behind him, Bertie, Ian Brett, and he was in the Air Force for about 13 years, flew the Tornado Geo 4 on burst exercise, becoming a qualified pilot navigator instructor, and primarily that was in the Tucano, before then going off to be a QFI on elementary flying training on the Tutor.
We're going to take the Cloudbase. I would expect him to take rolling, however he may find a gap and go full, but I can't really see one, so I expect him to take north. But as I said, that decision was made by Red 1. But please put your hands together for the 2023 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the Red Arrows! From left wing tick to right wing tick. And with the team rolling to the left, that is telling me that Red 1 has elected to take the show rolling. As they arrive at over 400 miles per hour, they now collapse into a 8-arrow shape. Leading the formation is squadron leader Tom Bold. He is Red 1 and the team leader. He is in his third and final year on the team. He was also in the team between 2014 and 17, where he was the synchro leader. He has flown Typhoon operationally when it was at RAF Lucas. He's also qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark II and the Tucano, where he was the Tucano display pilot in 2010. As they roll out for the 8 Arrow, keep your eye on the formation for a dynamic shape change. As Red 7 and 8 perform a rollback and change the shape from 8 Arrow into Mixer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are displaying 2023 as our 8 ship. That's because we consider we only train 3 new pilots each year. And the maths simply didn't work out. You're number 9 being our trademark Diamond 9 shape. However, next year is our 60th anniversary of our Diamond Jubilee, and we plan to be back to our famous Diamond 9 next year. So hopefully you'll get to see us in that trademark Diamond 9 in 2024. As the team round, bend round to the right. Once again, get your cameras ready for the fix. Roll. Very experienced pilot. He has flown operations on both the Harrier and the Typhoon, and he's also a qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark II. I said that there are 8 pilots in the display for you. They are Reds 1 through 8. There's myself, Red 10, former Tornado GR4 pilot and qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark II. And we also have the officer commanding Wing Commander Adam Collins. He's also known as Red 11. He's a former Tornado GR4 pilot, and he also flew the F-111 while on exchange with the Royal Australian Air Force. He also flew the Hawk T Mark I in the aggressor role when it was 100 Squadron when it used to be at RAF Leeming. Reds 4 and 5 made their way back to the rear of the formation. Now the smoke comes on as they bend round to the left for our first of our space-themed shapes. This is the Apollo present. On the left-hand side of Red 1 is Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Tom Hansford. Just to sit behind to form the second of our space-themed shape. This is Eagle. So we went from the Apollo space missions in the 1960s through to the space landing craft, the moon landing craft of Eagle. And this is our second space-themed shape as the team come round to the left. The smoke will come on for the Eagle present. All the pilots on the arrows must have over 1,500 fast jet hours and be assessed as above average before they can even apply to join the team. They go through a rigorous selection process, with the applications going down to the final 9, and that final 9 eventually get whittled down to the new 3 pilots each year. And our new pilots have already started their conversion back onto the Hawk T Mark I to join the 2024 team. Red 7's now moved to the left, Red 8 moved to the right with all the odd numbers on the left hand side, or the even numbers on the right hand side, as the team bend round to the left for the Signet present.
All over, thanks now,
Red 7 and 8 now in trench on the rest of the formation. As we perform one of the most popular, if not the most popular manoeuvre, ladies and boys and girls, get your cameras ready to roll! Right, still be the tornado!
Ready, quick!
Before the call is made, it's Red 7 and 8 roll around the rest of the formation. Of course, what's on one day, not too easy for the rest of the team to include the red stripes going on. And he bends formation around to the right.
Outside the back of the aircraft, which allows the smoke to bloom a lot more fully, which enhances certain manoeuvres during our display. As I said earlier, some of the engineers are known as the Blues. Inside those Blues there are 10 individuals who fly in between the displays in the back of our aircraft when we cannot take the full engineering complement. They are known as the Circus. One individual who's with me at every display is Circus 10. He's in front of the fire station. That is Corporal Phil Enid, named after Enid Blyton's famous 5. And Red 6, 7 and 8, known as Hannah, named after squad leader Ray Hannah, a 4 member of the Red Arrows, responsible for taking the team to a 7 and a 9, and forming the Diamond 9 formation. Get your cameras ready for the detonator. Enid breaking first, followed by Hannah, with Red 6 off to the left, Red 7 off to the right, Red 8 off to the left. Communicate on the radio without speaking over the voice commands of Red 1. Red 6 and 7 now the synchro pair, with Red 7 off to our right, Red 6 off to our left, led by Red 6, who is the synchro leader. That's squadron leader James Turner, known as JT. 4th year on the team, a former Typhoon pilot and instructor on 29 Squadron here at Royal Air Force Coningsby, and also a qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark 1 at RAF Valley.
This looks good.
The team now approaching at over 800 miles per hour. They passed only 100 feet above the airfield. They both perform a 4-point hesitation roll before now turning away from the display line, pulling up to 5 to 6G. Their aim is to come back to the centre of the display line as they perform the manoeuvre called Cyclone.
Oh, look at this.
Tango. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready. The red smoke comes on, the synchro pair part for the synchro half. Ready, coming in as he spears the heart. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give the synchro pair and ready to massive round of applause for a wonderful heart in the skies of Royal Air Force Coningsby. Now perform a series of barrel rolls in a manoeuvre. Go!
Yeah, so Horton Castle never turned up. I've tried to cut that whole thing away with 2 cadets that are meant to be doing. As the aircraft passes the Royal Air Force Hawk T Mark 1, it's been in the service since 1976. However, once again, the synchro pair running back in, this time with red 6 from the right hand side, red 7 from the left hand side. As they pass in the centre for the carousel. Towards the back of the circle, make sure that he passes within over 100 feet of red 6. Both aircraft now turning hard 5 to 6G. It means everything about them is now waving 5 to 6 times heavier than what they now are. As they pass to the front of the carousel. Putting themselves into line of serve with red 1 at the front all the way back to red 5 at the rear of the formation. Red 1 brings them round to left for the helix present. One of the roles of the red arrows is of course to represent Great Britain when we looked at a 5-4 in the Middle East last year. The red, white and blue through the sky with the Union flag on the tail, and the red, white and blue smoke through the sky. We often work with trade and industry, promoting Great Britain all across the world and ensuring we have good relations with UK defence, foreign defence and trade and industry from those countries. The formation now split with reds 2 and 4 on the right hand side, reds 3 and 5 on the left hand side as they go into leaders benefit formation. And of course this year we celebrated the coronation of King Charles III. Once again, get your cameras ready as this coloured smoke comes on for the Enid coronation present. Formation, rolling left 6, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, roll, roll, and call us with 7 and 8. Flight Lieutenant David Simmons, 5th year on the team, a former Tornado GR4 pilot, where he flew the roll demo in 2012. He also flew the Harrier and the F-5 on exchange with the United States Marine Corps. The Red Arrows is a CLAT, and that means excellence. It means we try to strive for excellence in everything that we do, from the very bottom of the squadron all the way to the top. However, we're also aware that we are only custodians of that motto for 3 to 5 years, and therefore we try to leave the squadron in a better place from where we've come. Once again, he calls for 7 and 8 to roll. The blue smoke comes on as 7 and 8 roll around the red smoke of red 6. But once again, get your cameras ready for the Hadder Vortex 3.
Beautiful.
Once again, red 6 off to the left hand side, red 7 off to the right hand side. Once again, we go to the last feet for a right back pass for the final pass of the show. Once again, get a one for you to go. For the infinity break. However, Royal Air Force Coningsby, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together for the 2023 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the Red Arrows! The red one puts his smoke on. He'll gather the rest of the formation, take them back to Royal Air Force One. We're also on Insta and Twitter.
He has some significant trademarks in his repertoire of aerobatic manoeuvres, and there are many of them coming your way as well. So stand by for keywords. And here is On the Roll. Throughout the entire procedure. But these aircraft go right back to the mid-1940s when Curtis Pitts came up with the idea with a competition aircraft to win as many flights and competitions as he could. The Pitts Special, its first flight was being made in 1944, and it went on to dominate world aerobatic competition throughout the 60s and the 70s, and today remains a potent competition aircraft even in some of the lower countries. Themselves to add the aircraft to the screen here in flat, inverted, half circle,
The blood's draining into his head as he's screaming around, putting a boot full of leather in to get around the outside of that streams of smoke, just getting himself warmed up. The prototype and the original have been continuously developed all through that period since the mid-1940s and made famous by a whole range of different pilots. There's a magnificent machine hanging upside down in the Dulles Aviation Museum across in Washington State, flown by an extraordinary lady called Betty Skelton, who nominated her aircraft as the Little Stinker. Goodwin is one of those guys who hates to fly in a straight line for very long without doing something. Here we go, now he'll wait until all the power is gone, holding it on the propeller, and then just going into a spiral, spinning all the way down, cockpit full of grass, and putting another 5-6 through at the bottom end to keep going. Preparation for the amount of force, and even though Vincent developed the aircraft, it was taken even further by the likes of Richard Goodwin.
Oh, that's nasty.
This is the lowest still speed aircraft, not necessarily in the room, but certainly in the display today. Rolling, reversing, flipping it, out, there's the space, pushing it, on streams, there's the changing axes, the high lines, possibly and then there's the what it's like in the cockpit as well, with the stick going all over the place, held first to be back as hard as possible, trying almost to put the aircraft in an uncontrollable position, but it just isn't possible.
Oh, this has got to hurt.
Not for the faint-hearted, but of course Richard, also an ex-Royal Air Force pilot, his father was as well. His father a well-known hunter display pilot some decades ago. Richard primarily involved in flying the Tornado GR1. He just lives, eats and breathes aviation. A totally committed enthusiast, just doing a bit of cooling on the engine now before he commences his own personal favourite, the Tower of Power, as he just double checks all the instruments, ensures the airspace is clear, everything is safe. He'll soon put this in a very high speed vertical dive down. On the way down, he'll flick roll it, and then use all of that residual energy and power. Here we go. Speed building up, energy building up, all about energy management as well, this.
using that descent to good use now to pull up into a series of vertical holding it. The gyroscopic effects there as the engine and the propeller interact to keep them going, letting the aircraft fall through his own smoke, nothing on the top, and then the rest of the engine takes over to heighten back to earth. Display starts, but it does give them the flexibility, unlike military pilots who fly to a very set procedure. Once again showing us building up the speed, using the energy, getting bored very quickly, put in another roll, here we go, using that now. Aerobatic aviator right at the top end of his game, and with any luck next year you'll see him back, or 2 years. Much like the trip he did, the Harvard's trained literally thousands of pilots around the world. This one so much so, essentially with the South African Air Force before then being sold to the Portuguese Air Force in 1969.
The prototype of the Texan first flew back as long ago as April 1935. Known as Cozy Rosie. Final pass, just repositioning now. Quite nice to see those three aircraft, but Mark rather drowned out there, but so will we. But nonetheless, a really lovely display. Spent many years. He transferred his thrill for formation and aerobatic skills across to the P-51 Mustang after completing that time with the Aerostars, and now doing an awful lot of flight demonstrations of passenger flying with the Mustang and the Spitfire for ultimate warbirds across the Skyway. He's going down listening smartly on his final pass. Around UK now to fly these Red Ted is in there.
move behind you as well. Would you believe it?
I'm really offended. It's a big offence to that.
Recognise that sound? Very slow on purpose as well, yeah. Where's Ted's beret?
I'm not at work until the 4th.
And here they come on the roll.
12, 3, and that's an insect. They're on their way from Mark. I'll do 48 hours this week.
Here we go.
seconds now whilst the Bbmf fighter pair reconnects with the Lancaster. We're just going to roll ANARCHY1, Flight Lieutenant Matthew Brighty, of course, and then we'll complete the departures, get back into display flying.
Oh, here we go.
Send it, come on.
Come on, Brighty.
Please welcome your very own Battle of Britain memorial flight. Leading from the front today, Flight Lieutenant Paul Ernie Wise, flanked by the Squadron OC Mark Sugden, and the man who continues to live a dream for so many years now, Flight Lieutenant Andy Breeze.
Circle somewhere.
Superb aircraft.
Study circles.
Just the sun coming out of British aviation, tenacity, tribute not just to the pilots, but of course to the engineers and the designers of the aircraft. Side as we commence the first of 3 individual displays. wonderful desert camouflage scheme representing a Mark 9C, one of the Mark 9 Spitfires operated by 92 Squadron in Tunisia in 1943. Out in the Mediterranean, the final victory tally of 26. When he went home from the war in 1944 after the fight, he was still just 22 years old. Was of course one of the classic fighters of all time, designed and built for war. It was right at the forefront of Britain's defence in 1940. Just three classic aircraft on display here, the three outstanding aircraft designers. We mentioned R.J. Mitchell and Spitfire, Synonymous Hawkers, and the very particular Sydney started on the design of the aircraft in 1934. It had an amazing career going through its flight tempest legislature, still doing it on carrier. Of over 14,000 Hurricanes were built, and the aircraft served operationally on every day throughout hostilities in every operational theatre in many roles. At the end of the World War II in 1945, Hurricanes were still in the front line, helping to ensure final victory in the Far East.
entirely pleased today. Really extending his career, tremendous guy to have on the air display circuit, and has served the Bbmf so well during his tour as the lead for operations. Over 2,000 airmen flew in the Battle of Britain. 574 of them were not even British. A total of 544 lost their lives. And over 1,500 aircraft lost by the British. 1,800 enemy aircraft. The average age of British pilots was just 22, and the average life expectancy of a Spitfire pilot just 4 weeks. A total of 791 pilots were lost during the Battle of Britain, and the battle itself lasted just 114 days.
Oh, to the right. Lancaster pretty much flat out, and of course the Typhoon, stick back, going relatively slowly. So just one or two configuration manoeuvres now in this formation format before we see yet more of the mighty Lancaster.
go for the break. Come on. Get ready. Here we go.
Right, go. That is for aviation, of course, because much more than that, and you run the risk of blowing a few windows and cars and things. But brakes off to lift off in 8 seconds, brakes off to 35,000 feet, and 1.5 times the speed of sound in 2.5 minutes. That is what 2 Eurojet EJ200 reheated turbofans, giving you 40,000 pounds of thrust, can produce. It's a phenomenal machine. Today, an instructor here at 20 Squadron. Joined the Air Force as direct entry in 2007, quickly graduating through. Typhoon, now a swing-roll combat platform able of conducting both air-to-air and air-to-surface missions, and designated the Typhoon FGR-4. Very engineer-friendly design, making it readily serviceable and easily loadable munitions. When you see the underside, just count the number of hard points underneath. An absolutely extraordinary number indeed.
Right, you're coming in for the Max Alpha.
When Matt's not displaying, he's of course teaching the next generation of frontline Typhoon pilots how to operate this jet, contributing to Royal Air Force Coningsby's primary task of defending UK sovereign airspace on QRA, that of course Quick Reaction Alert. In fact, every member of the Typhoon display team contributes to QRA, ensuring the security of the skies over the UK 24/7, 365 days a year. Here with a stick rail back, with a high alpha.
comfortably able to withstand. When pumping the plane all the way, it's miles through. Manoeuvres as well, starting that with a derry turn made famous by John Baring, where you feint to turn one way but actually go through the manoeuvre and pull in the opposite direction. Coming now through at high speed, we're looking for a serious climb to Havard.
Oh yeah! He's going to do it. Have you ever seen his landing? Oh, what the... Watch this.
A lovely topside pass there, just dipping his nose into the ground.
Straight up, go on. Is he going to do it? He is. Watch this, Dean. Dino. Watch this landing.
Mum, you're probably back.
Ladies and teddy bears, dedicating this landing to Dino, who got
pulling
us
up there, putting in a few turns, completing it now, rolling out, the landing back in home.
That is how you land a Typhoon.
How many years have I had?
So final clearance to land, final display of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the whole of the team that has put this show together on behalf of Group Captain Billy Cooper and everybody who's put the most amazing amount of work into helping you have a really, really enjoyable day today. And my thanks to them as well for inviting me here. Always a pleasure to come up to this phenomenal base and enjoy such good weather eventually and such amazing flying. Please, if you're thinking about going now, do remember to pick up everything you own. Do please also remember to take all your rubbish with you, dispose of it sensibly, and have a really safe journey home. Thank you all so much for joining in today, and I hope you've all had a great day out.
Oh, he's slowing it down, isn't he? Yeah! He's waving, man. He slowed it down, didn't he?